Well, hi, folks. This is Jim Peacock, and welcome to another Peak Careers interview. Today's topic is LinkedIn, the latest and the greatest. What's going on LinkedIn? And I am absolutely thrilled to have three of my fellow peeps here. Bob McIntosh, who's a career trainer and coach, works at an urban career center. He's earned the distinction of a LinkedIn's top voice. Hannah Morgan also earned LinkedIn's top voice in job search and careers, and she's got her business is the Career Sherpa. Edith Richards is a career counselor and trainer and the founder of Top Career, and they are all very involved with LinkedIn, and I'm really excited. So today I'm just going to ask, what are some of the newer and possibly underutilized features of LinkedIn, and maybe how to leverage them? Bob, again, as I said, he's one of LinkedIn's top voices. He also blogs at things career related. He's a prolific blogger. The guy loves to write, don't you, buddy?
I love it. But I have to tell people that when you choose your blog name, make sure that you sleep on it overnight, because I'm not totally psyched about my blog name.
Too late now, man.
I know.
And so Bob has done a bunch of great articles on introverts, and also lots on LinkedIn. So I'm a big fan of Bob's work and his writing. He also is an instructor for Peak Careers on teaching LinkedIn, advancing your skills. And I'm excited to be working with him that way. Hannah Morgan, she founded Career Sherpa to combine her career expertise with her love of writing, speaking, and social media. And she definitely does that. She's done all that and more. And she's very active on a number of different social media. Bob and I are probably, I'll speak for Bob, but Bob and I are more LinkedIn than anything. I'm on all those other platforms, but LinkedIn is my go-to. But Hannah's on all of them, but she's also an instructor, teaches our new seminar, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for career practitioners. And then Edith is, as I said, she's the founder of Top Careers. But what's interesting about Edith is she has a couple podcast series. One is on Myers-Briggs. It's called the Myers-Briggs Question Corner, and then EQ at Work. And that is, those are great. I love her insight on Myers-Briggs and how to actually make it live and how does it work. She's also teaching a new online seminar for Peak Careers and EQ at Work, Emotional Intelligence for Career Practitioners. So welcome, folks. I am so pumped to see you guys. Always nice to talk with you, but we're going to focus. I think we're going to focus a little on LinkedIn. So let's talk about what are some of the new things going on with LinkedIn, and what might be some tips on things that are being offered now and maybe underutilized that we could maybe help some folks learn about these new items on LinkedIn. And we're going to start with Edith. What are your thoughts, Edith?
Well, let me preface this first by saying I have nowhere near the expertise on LinkedIn that Bob or I believe Hannah do. So I'm a little bit out of my element here with LinkedIn. However, I think in the past year or two, I've certainly seen an increase in video content. And there are two new features of LinkedIn I personally haven't used myself before, but I have sat in on a couple of these events, LinkedIn events there. And there's also LinkedIn Live. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, the difference between them, it's really, both of them are just more of a way to engage with your audience, get your brand out there. And, we're seeing more and more of an increase in video content there. So I'm kind of excited about these two new features on LinkedIn. Another thing that I have seen, and this relates to all of the increased focus on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, it's the increased use in personal pronouns. So maybe you'll see people with the she, her, or he, him, or they and their. And just as I started speaking now, somebody outside my home has started mowing the grass. And
Oh,
funny
no.
how these things are just so timely like this. So I've got to
Yeah.
apologize in advance for that noise if that
No worries.
came through here
Yeah.
on the interview. So, so with that said, let me use this to pass it on to the next person here.
Sure. And you can, if you do have noise, go ahead and just mute your microphone. There you go.
Poor
Hannah.
Edith. Poor Edith. There's always something, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, my dog's gonna start barking pretty soon, so.
We'll just mute you then,
Yeah.
Bob. So I will say one of the things that I have a love-hate relationship with LinkedIn. Just when you think you get the hang of something, they go and change it. And they don't always do the greatest job announcing their new releases, the new features they have. And that's sort of frustrating. So sometimes by the time you figure it out, they sort of put it on hiatus. You know, I think people were really excited to get back into groups, and groups just still aren't all that great. So there are some new things that I think that any career practitioner really should be at least aware of and using for themselves. And one of those is the creator mode, which allows you to speak to the different services that you offer. And that will appear in your info top part of your profile, the info section, so that somebody can really easily see, oh, Hannah offers interview prep, or Hannah offers, you know, resume writing, but I don't. Whatever it is, those skills are that you're offering, career counseling or whatever. So it just gives another way to let people know what services you offer. While Edith was talking about you know, video is hot, and it is so, LinkedIn is definitely on board with using more video. One of the things that they have also given people to do, but it's only available on mobile, is for you to record a personal message. They call it like an intro. I call it an intro more than anything else, but because I don't want people to think it's a video resume, because that's not what it is. Is it 15 seconds, Bob?
Yeah, 30 seconds, and I would equate it to like your elevator pitch. I haven't created mine yet, so
I haven't either, because I really I want mine to be something more than just my elevator pitch. I'm trying to do something that I would want job seekers to know, because for me, I don't think that telling people what I'm great at doing really helps them understand who I am and what I'm all about. So I've got to come up with a different formula so that people really feel like they get to know me a little bit better. Maybe it's a story. I think it's a story, which is possible, and sort of tie it up neatly at the end, but it's really short. So and it's only mobile. So I think that they're going to miss a certain audience with that, because not everybody is comfortable using video, and not everybody is comfortable using, you know, the LinkedIn app on their phone. So I think that can be a great advantage for the career coaches that want to use it and feel the need to do it, and even for job seekers. One of the other things that was on the list was LinkedIn's newsletter, and I'm going to say big fast no, don't do that. If you're going to build an audience, if you're going to build a pipeline of people who are interested in your content, you should own that list. And you know, if you talk to any content marketer, they always say the money's in the list. So if you allow LinkedIn to house this list for you, you've missed a huge opportunity, because LinkedIn has had a lot of glitches with distributing their newsletter. I'm signed up to get 5 or 6 of them from people that I really respect and want their newsletter, and not only do they not show up in my LinkedIn feed, I think that might be the only place they do show up. I don't think they show up in my inbox. So if I'm not logged into LinkedIn, I'm not really seeing this really valuable content. So I'm not a huge fan of the newsletter feature. I would not do that. I would not use that.
Right. And especially with a newsletter, it takes a lot of time to create a newsletter. So if you're going to invest that kind of time, you're going to want to make sure that you own some of that. Right. A couple things though, I want to back up on the creator mode. That's like right underneath your headline. There's a little spot that says your services. But recently I found in another LinkedIn group, which is on Facebook. It's a Facebook LinkedIn group. Maybe I think Bob's in there too.
We love that group.
That is a great group. But I found that you can actually add more of a paragraph. So there used to be that little creator mode used to just be, you could list your services, but now you can actually add a whole paragraph that describes them. And so I thought that was a big improvement. I thought it was like, I mean, my services are listed below, and actually my little paragraph is kind of below, but I thought it was kind of nice when you could add more. So you're saying you can only create this is regarding the recorded personal message that can only be created on using a phone, but I can see it on my desktop, but I can't create it on my desktop.
Right.
Because I think Sabrina, another friend of a few of us here,
absolutely.
Sabrina, I think she's got a little message that she's put on there. I haven't. It was just, it's kind of cool when you go to her LinkedIn profile, all of a sudden you see her start to talk, and it's kind of. I think it's got a place. I think it's kind of neat.
I do too. I like that idea.
I just thought it was not, in 30 seconds, you're right. I mean, what am I going to say in 30 seconds? But I don't know. I like you. I would want to be thoughtful about that. But anyways, let's move on. And who knows where this is going to go.
Well, yeah, I have comments on all of what these Edith and Hannah have said.
Go ahead.
So getting back to the creator mode, I think that it is fine for people who are getting many followers, many likes or reactions on their post, because that all shows up. I mean, what shows up right underneath your photo and headline are the number of followers you have, which is good for someone like Hannah and other people who have many, many followers. But for people who don't, then it's not very complimentary. And then as people scroll down, and this is what I do when I look at profiles, I look at their activity. And so so I have my creator mode on now, and it shows that I have like 5 reactions from my last post, maybe 20 from the one prior to that. And it's not very impressive. So I don't keep creator mode on, and I'm going to turn it off right after we get off here. Because, if people want to know how many followers I have, then they can go down to my activity section. Getting back to the LinkedIn Live. So LinkedIn is very exclusive. You have to apply for LinkedIn Live. And in addition to that, you have to be comfortable doing video. You have to be comfortable doing what we're doing right now, hosting speakers and so forth, which means then there you have to have some outstanding speakers, to really justify having LinkedIn Live. Newsletter. I totally agree with Hannah. I will never do that.
Yeah.
Because Hannah and I, we have a blog, and Edith has a blog, and we understand that our blogs are our baby. And as content distributors, we want to distribute the best information. I am not going to give LinkedIn my original information. I mean, I might repost on LinkedIn publishing, but I'm not going to post it first there, because who knows what's going to happen? Who knows how many, what kind of reaction you're going to get from it and so forth. And like Hannah says, it's not distributed to everyone in your network. So LinkedIn also does a poor job of really promoting the fine work that you do. So yeah, so what can we say positive about LinkedIn?
Well, we can say there's a lot of good stuff, but
can I talk about polls? Can
I
talk about polls?
Wait a minute. Before that hand grenade gets rolled into the room, the other thing I'll mention about newsletters, which would concern me, is that I know of people whose LinkedIn profile just disappeared.
Yeah.
Because you don't own that website, you don't own that server, and you can't really, you can back up your profile, but it's not like backing up your website. When I put a newsletter out, or when I post something on my website, I've got a backup of my website. My hosting company has a backup of my website. As long as I'm paying my bills to my hosting company, I have it. LinkedIn, I know people that just simply disappeared. And where would your newsletters go? Where would all your content go? That would worry me tremendously. So let's segue. Well,
let
go
me just
ahead.
get back because I didn't complete that thought, because with newsletters, it also involves a lot of work. You have to accumulate a lot of content, hopefully from other people, you know, not just from yourself, because a newsletter actually is that. So Hannah, she publishes Summary Sunday, which is really popular. It's an honor to be in, you know, in that newsletter. You know, Hannah, is that a lot of work or what?
I mean, it takes some
I
time.
mean, you have to read a lot. You have to read.
I read a lot anyway, so
Okay.
it's sort of like Sarah.
We were
like,
talking earlier. I don't read.
I read all the time. So, and that's
Yeah.
why I started it. But for people that don't have a lot to say or don't read a lot, it's going to take a lot of time and energy
Yeah.
to curate that content. Absolutely.
And so speaking of curating content, when are they going to start to like really promote podcasts? Like Edith has a great podcast. When is LinkedIn going to start promoting that? You know, I mean,
Oh,
what
bet
can you
that-
do, Edith,
yeah.
right?
I bet that's coming. And, you know, just to ping back to what you all were saying before, I think we as career practitioners know this, that we need to focus on our strengths. So if you're not a writer, for example, obviously you're not going to be curating content to put together a newsletter. Some people just aren't comfortable in front of a camera.
Right.
But I think it's also we should say this for the job seekers too, who might be tuning in, because I think sometimes the message goes out there that these are the new features of LinkedIn and here's what you should be doing. And really the job seekers also need to follow our advice and focus on where they're getting kind of the best bang for their buck, focusing on your strengths, just doing the things that are inherent to you, rather than what everybody else is telling you you should do.
Great point.
Wow.
Great
That's a
point.
I mean, this
really, really
conversation
good
could
point.
go in many different directions. That's a
Yeah.
good point. Yeah.
No, and it's like for me, I mean, I blog. I don't blog as much as Bob, and but I blog. It takes a lot of time, and it's I didn't blog when I first came into this LinkedIn world because I wasn't sure of myself. I tell clients, you don't know, not everybody needs to blog.
Right.
You know, and so like Edith, great point. Play to your strengths, you know, and if your strengths are supporting, you know, you want to be in that background, then just like and share and make comments. I mean, just to get yourself out there, but at least have a strong profile, right? I mean, just have a strong profile, you know, and use the parts that you want to use. If you're not comfortable with video, don't use video. If you're not going to write a blog, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Because there's nothing worse than seeing someone's video popping up there and you can just tell that they don't really want to be there. They don't want to be in front of the camera. They're not really a good speaker. So yeah, it's painful to watch.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. Focus on your
Painful to do
strengths.
for me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's take a poll on
Very
that.
good.
Talk about it, Bob.
Come on, Bob.
Oh, a poll. Oh, okay. So talking about polls, one of my
Yeah.
favorite features. But here's why, because when they're done well, then they add value to your network. But when they're done poorly, like, what is your favorite breakfast cereal? Cares, you know? I mean, and we're getting polls like that. Polls have become very, very popular.
Annoying.
Annoying. Yes. So I vow to only conduct one poll a week. I wish everyone else would do the same thing, because when people are conducting 3 polls before the others even close, what good is that? You know, you're just really playing into LinkedIn's trap of engagement. It's not even engagement. It's like activity, you know?
Quantity over quality.
Yeah, right.
No, you're right. I think you've said the word, and Bob, I know you've locked into this, and there's a huge difference between activity and engagement.
Oh yeah.
And I know you're a big supporter of that concept.
What
I think we all are. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I find annoying about the polls is that everybody's polling the same question. If I see one more poll about, would you rather work in the office or work from home? How many times can somebody ask that poll? Like that's been done 100 times already. So let's find another topic.
Yeah. And you know, Bob, to your point, that your polls have been informative. You know, so when you do a poll, I'm always curious to respond so that I can see the results. I'm like, okay, well, that's that's helpful information, something about your headline or something about,
Right.
I don't remember.
Well,
those.
I mean, I put thought into it. And if I don't have a good topic for a poll for 1 week, then I'll just go past, I won't post a poll that week. But when I do my webinars, I conduct polls, and Edith knows this because she's been a guest speaker, and I'll poll the audience. And so I've gotten sort of good at asking the right questions. But some of my polls, they just totally flop. I mean, one now is over 4,000 votes. That's great. But then the next one could be 50 votes. So it really depends on,
but I think
on the topic.
But it's about engagement. And if that's what it's getting, then that's cool.
And the other thing I do is that I sometimes I write articles based on the polls. So they serve two purposes. Yeah.
I really like
and that's what I was gonna, I've done polls in the past, not LinkedIn, not the new LinkedIn poll, but I've created a Survey Monkey or a Google Forms, where I asked people to answer a question that I then use to write a blog. So I think, just now I can actually just do that all within LinkedIn. That's fine. If I am looking for information to write a blog, and when I want to reach out to the people in my community, that's great. But I mean, if you're just polling to poll for poll's sake, for numbers sake, for activity's sake, I'm like, I don't participate in every poll. Clearly, I don't participate in every poll. But when there appears to be some content behind it, I think it's got some possibilities. But like Hannah, I'm like a little man.
I want Hannah to do a poll. Have you done a poll, Hannah?
I have. I've done a couple.
See, I don't even see them. It's like if I saw them, I would jump all over them.
Yeah, I did them in the early days, back when they weren't getting all the traction. I haven't done one in months because I'm just so fed up with them.
Okay, that was my favorite feature, but go ahead.
There you go. Well, it works for you. Good luck.
We have our preferences, right?
So what else is out there that might be, what else is new with LinkedIn? Can you,
I just want to say very briefly, I do not like the increase in character counts for posts. It's gone from 1,300 to 3,000. 3,000 characters is basically 500 words, which is the minimum of an article. So LinkedIn is encouraging people to write articles, and I will not read 3,000 characters. I'm sorry. Anyone else?
I'm glad you brought that up, because it's so forgive me if I sound a little bit not with it right now, but the posts, so people are writing posts now, whereas maybe a year or two ago I think they were writing articles on LinkedIn, and now everything's being kind of moved to these posts, and that's a huge increase. I didn't realize it was.
It's keeping people on the platform, rather than clicking a link and bringing them to, say, my blog or Hannah's blog or your podcast, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
for me, LinkedIn is I like LinkedIn when it's skimmable. If I can't skim something to get the message and then go find out more if I'm interested, then that doesn't work for me. So I find it overwhelming to read through my feed like I used to, because everything is just long clumps of text. Get to the point, folks, right? Like, what's your point? I don't read it. I love you, but I don't need to read your story. It is clickbaity. You're getting me into the story to get me to read on and to figure out what the correlation is to career advice. No, that's it doesn't work for me. It might work for other people.
Yeah, but just these long posts, and then it drives me a little wacky. What do you think about this? There's every once in a while there'll be like people who will tag like 20 or 30 people. That I don't know.
Guilty.
No, not you. Like,
well, no,
people that
but
don't know you.
Okay, all right. If I do an article that includes people's content, then I must tag them.
You must tag them if you're
going. But if I want people to see my content, then I will send them a message.
Yeah.
But there are people that you don't know that randomly tag all of the quote unquote top voices or influencers, and that's just not the way it's supposed to be done.
Well, you know,
If you
and-
don't know the person and you're tagging them along with 50 other people or 10 other people, what is,
uh-oh, I'm yeah, so apparently Peak Careers, my Wi-Fi froze on me here and we paused, but we were just talking about tagging and people who over tag. And I think the problem with that is sometimes I feel it's almost like I feel obligated to reply because they've included my name in there, but I've gotten over that. I have higher EQ now that I've taken Edith's class, and I just go, hey, you know
Yeah.
what?
Scroll
I
on
got
by.
nothing to say, and I'm just going to be silent and walk away. And that's just one of the funky things. I want to ask one other question, and and then if there's anything specific else that anybody wants to talk about, but the thing that's in the back of my mind is, when's LinkedIn going to start charging everybody? I just feel like it's coming. What are your thoughts on that?
My thought is, and sorry for jumping in right away, but I wouldn't mind if they would charge us $10 a month. As long as we got all of the benefits that we used to have when LinkedIn started, but they took away unlimited searches, they took away, folders, whatever, all of that stuff.
Right.
If they would charge everyone $10, I could easily deal with that. And then you would, not only that, you'd get all the features back, but you'd get rid of the dead wood that probably is about half of what's on LinkedIn. People not even using the platform.
Yeah.
Maybe even more than half. What is it like? The average user is 14 minutes a month, something. Am I right?
Yeah, there's a huge number. I mean,
yeah,
a lot of people are not involved at all. I haven't touched their LinkedIn profile in years. And I don't know. Hannah, what do you think?
So back in like 2010, I wrote an article about that very thing. I can't, LinkedIn will at one point charge everybody to use its platform. And a lot of people yelled at me and said, no, that'll never happen. But I really can see them trying to do that. But Facebook has found a way to not charge everybody, right?
Yeah.
But their model is a little bit different. They're all about ads, and it's a different platform. So
yeah.
I don't think it's out of the realm. And I think the takeaway is any one of the social media platforms could one day decide that they're going to charge for all membership, right? And so if you put all of your eggs in one basket, and that's LinkedIn, if that ever goes away, you're
Great
sunk.
Great point. Yeah.
So every 6 months, if you follow me, I post, how do you back up your LinkedIn profile? So a lot of people don't know that. I always include that in all my LinkedIn workshops and stuff.
I've seen it, yeah.
But I do it every 6 months, and you basically can save your profile in a PDF format. So you're not saving, but it saves me from having to retype up everything. So that's good. And I can save my contacts, although I don't believe their emails come back with it. I think it's just their contact names, if I remember right. I haven't opened the file in a while, but they've changed what you can actually save. But you can actually save your posts and your articles and stuff, but it's in PDF format. So it's not like you'd have to retype a lot of it, but at least you'd have it. And I think, God forbid, if I lost my LinkedIn profile and the couple thousand people that are following me, I mean, I don't want to, I don't know how I could possibly, I'd have to start all over, right, if I lost everything. So anyways, I'm trying to keep these to 25 minutes. Any other new features on LinkedIn or anything else that there's some buzz on that anybody wants to bring up? There's all kinds of, we'll do it again. How about that? We'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do it again. And this was a lot of fun, but let's wrap up here. I'm Jim Peacock with Peak Careers Consulting. I started teaching the Facilitating Career Development class in 2001. And then in 2010, started developing online discussion-based seminars. So these are a little different. They're not they're asynchronous, so they're not like you have to be logged in. It's discussions that open up each week and they're with different career practitioners. New material opens on Saturday and there's discussions throughout the week, and then another discussion opens up. You can see those on my website, all the different topics. I also do face-to-face workshops, individual career coaching. I wrote the Field Guide for Career Practitioners, and most recently came out with The Adventure of Finding Me in New Zealand, which is not a career book. It's really a year of travel I took, which primarily was in New Zealand. If you'd like to sign up for my weekly career emails, and if you're a career practitioner, career counselor, anyone who delivers career services, you can sign up and you'll get the top 10 tips of working with an undecided person. And you can connect with me on any one of these social media platforms, but as I've said, LinkedIn is really my home. So in closing, I'd just like to take a second here, and Bob, what's one takeaway if someone were to take your LinkedIn Advancing Your Skills seminar? What's a takeaway that you'd like to mention here?
Well, I think the takeaway is that among the 3 components that I'll be discussing, the profile will last 2 weeks. We'll go over the profile very, very in depth. And then you'll get a half an hour LinkedIn profile critique from me and maybe Jim if I have too many students. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Hannah, what's a takeaway from your new upcoming online seminar?
Yeah, I'm really excited to offer this. It's Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for career practitioners. And I believe that one or more of those platforms could be the key to your reaching a broader audience. Wherever your audience is, they're not all on LinkedIn as actively. So whether it's Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, we'll learn how to use each one of those platforms better, or learn them at all, to reach a broader audience and to have more engaging content with people that could be your clients or customers.
And Edith, you delivered the EQ at Work last spring, and I participated in that. That was great. But what's a takeaway that you'd like to share?
Well, first of all, let me just say that I do not know of anyone who cannot benefit from constant targeted use of emotional intelligence in their lives. And I put myself in that category as well. We are in this class. I'm really excited to be offering it for the second time. The biggest thing is that anybody who's taking it will have an opportunity to self-assess their own emotional intelligence. And we all know the greater need for this with what's happened in the world in the past couple of years here. And it just goes to show that we need EQ more than ever before. So really excited to be bringing that to Peak Careers once again.
Awesome. Well, thank you all. If you go to the Peak Careers website under the online seminars, there's a 12-month calendar you can look at and see when these are being offered next. Thank you all so much. I love talking with every single one of you guys. This was great. Thanks for carving some time out today. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Jim.
Great seeing you, Edith and Hannah. Thanks.
Yeah,
You guys. Thanks.
Yeah. Take care, folks.
Mhm.